morning, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. How's the family? If you enjoy any and all things makeup related, you're definitely going to want to go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads, as well as you can go follow this dumpster fire over on Instagram. And let's get into today's video, which is trying out tons more new makeup, because literally I just keep buying just like more and more new makeup. It just keeps devolving. Also, elephant in the room that we're going to clear up. I have new piercings. I went and just got them yesterday, as you can tell. Still very red. So I got this side right here. So now we're finished. Got the double, and then I got my septum done. So I got them both done at the same time. I thought the septum was going to hurt a lot more than it did. I did. I'll get more into that. But we have tons of new makeup to try. So if you're like, well, what do we have to try? Okay, good, great question. So I did purchase some things from Charlotte Tilbury. A lot of her like new products. Some things that aren't new, but I am going to try out is her like elixir oil and her magic cream. Then we have the new concealer that she has out. We have the new setting powder for brightening. And then we finally have got our hands on the cream bronzer in Fair. I feel like getting the cream bronzer in Fair was a whole journey. Then we have some things from Unearthly Cosmetics. I bought some lashes. We've got some new like little eyeliners. And then we have the Vitality palette. So we're going to be playing around with that. Then I just purchased some like random things here on Sephora's website and Ulta's website. So I have the new Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation Liquid Whip Longwear Foundation. I have a new shade of the Jaclyn bronzer. I felt like the other ones were a little bit warmer. This is supposed to be, not warmer, deeper. This is supposed to be the lightest shade, so we'll see how well that works. And then we have this new blush from Benefit called Shelly, which is like just like this very like beautiful like pinky orange type of blush. I think it's so pretty. So here are all of the things that we have to try out. So if you guys are excited to see what I think of these products, what look we come up with, then definitely keep on watching. I usually like to start with my eyes first, but I do want to prep our skin to give our skin plenty of time to be prepped with these two products from Charlotte Tilbury. So first off is the Collagen Superfusion Facial Oil, infused with collagen matrix, potent plant extracts, vitamin-rich oils, calming essential oils. This is to massage a few drops into clean skin morning and evening after your magic moisturizer. Oh, so you're supposed to use this first, the magic moisturizer. Okay. So this, I guess we'll use first. This was made in France. That's all it says. That's it. Just made in France. But I have heard a lot of people have some mixed reviews. Some people either really love it, and some people don't think it's worth quite the price tag that she has for this. So it's kind of really thick. We'll put a little bit. I don't feel it smells. It doesn't smell like artificial like scent or anything. It literally just smells like a skincare cream. So we're going to go ahead and start working that in. Oh yeah. This is definitely, I mean, even with that little bit, like I can feel it just smoothing all around my face with no problem. Like it just feels really nice. I don't know if I necessarily spend like $100 on a thing of that, but okay. So then we've got that Collagen Superfacial Oil. So I'm going to draw some up in the little dropper. And we'll just like some here, some here. I don't feel like I got any. There we go. There. Okay. So this does, in a way, kind of have a scent. It does. I remember it did say it had like essential oils in it. And it definitely smells like a very like spearmint, earthy type of scent. So, you know, it's not like overpowering. It's not like rose or anything like that. It's just like very spearmint and earthy. Spearmint and earthy is what I'm going to describe it as. Spearmint and earthy. Okay, so now we've got this Unearthly Cosmetics Vitality palette. This is quite the palette. I think this is probably one of their bigger palettes that they have done. Like the All I Ever Wanted had quite a few of these. These has 24 shades. So that is quite a few shades. That is quite a few to get through. So I want to do, I want to do a little grungy green is what I want to do. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. So first off, we're just going to start off with the shade right here. This is called Gusto. It's kind of like a medium, like peachy kind of color. And we'll start off with that as like our transition shade. This is very, very pigmented upon first application. So definitely don't need a lot of this. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about my piercing journey. So I have been wanting to get my nose to look just like this. Like, this is what I've been wanting for a long time. And I got my nose very first pierced ever when I was 15 years old for my birthday. Me and my older sister. My older sister is much older than me and my siblings. I think she's 7 years older than me. Yeah, she's 7 years older than me. So when I was 15, she was 22. And so for my birthday, she was like, I want to go get my nose pierced. Do you want to come with me? And of course, me being like the piercing person that I am, I was like, yes. So we got permission from my mom. My mom went with us. We signed for me to get my nose pierced. So I went and got my nose pierced. Okay, so next up we're going to take the shade right here called Spirit. It's more of that little grungy green. And we'll focus that a little bit lower into like the crease area. So that's when I got that done. Then I want to say in 2017, I had met, their screen's not really showing up very well. It's just not. Okay, let's problem solve. So I think I'm going to go in then with like this purple. I'm going to try this purple out and see if we can get anything. It's not as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. So it was like 2017 and me and my best friend had like, oh my god, it was like a whole entire like best friend girl day kind of a thing. We went and got like waxed. We went and got like lunch, got our nails done. Like there's just like a ton of stuff that we like went and did. And so one of the things we were like, let's go get, like, cause she had her nose pierced too. She's like, let's go get our like a second nose piercing. And I'm like, I'm listening. So 2017 got this one done. So it was just like a few months ago actually. Was it? Yeah, it was like a few months ago. We had a huge girls' night between me, Sarah, and my other friend Tanya. And we were like, let's go get some piercings. Let's just go do something spontaneous. Because Sarah had really wanted to go get her like her tongue pierced. And so we were all like, okay, cool. Like, let's go then. So I went and got this side done. This one right here done. Tanya got her second hole because she already had this one, so she got that one. And then Sarah got her tongue pierced. And then I was like, okay, like I have to get this finished a lot faster than like it has been going, because like it's been going where, you know, it's like every like so many years that I get it done. And so finally yesterday, you know, I was on my lunch. And I had messaged my friend Sarah, and I was like, hey, do you want to go with me to finish up my nose piercing? I was like, this is totally on a whim. I was like, but do you want to go? And she's like, yeah, I've got a lunch break too. So I was like, then let's go. All right, so next up for the last shade I'm going to put on, I think I'm just going to go in with this shade right here called Sparkle. I was like, okay, well then let's go. And she was like, okay. So we meet there and I get my 2 piercings and then she gets her tragus done, which is this right here. And she gets like a basic just like cartilage piercing done. And now here we are. Voila. I will say, I don't know what I was expecting. I will say though that I'm going to add a little bit of the Live shade, which is right next to that. I said, but what I will say is that I was panicking that like my septum was going to hurt. Like it was going to be so painful. I wasn't going to enjoy this. Like I was freaking out. And like I have had obviously my nose done multiple times. So I was like, I know this isn't going to be that bad. Like this isn't going to hurt that bad. Like it's going to be like no issue at all. Like it'll be easy. It'll just be so easy. So he did my nose first. I had asked that he do this first. That way they can put the clamp up in here without having to worry about that being in the way. So I did that first, didn't shed a tear, didn't, my eyes didn't water, nothing like that. It was just basic. So then it was time for my septum. So he takes the like little clamps it on there, and he was like, just start breathing, take big deep breaths. So here's me like, this is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so bad. I had my eyes closed. They asked that you do close your eyes, so that way you don't like jerk away or anything. So I was like closing my eyes. I was like, okay, like this is gonna be fine. We can do this. And then he was like, remove the clamps, and I was just like, we're done? We're done? That was it? I was panicking about my septum, and there was no reason to even panic. Not a thing. Not a soul. So I've got my eyes glitter primed. We have a few options. We have like this yellow. We have like this like blue purple. We have like this pink. We have like this blue. We have this deep purple. I think I like this. Yeah, there we go. Like it's just so beautiful. And that is the shade Fair. There we go. There we go. Just got to build it up a little bit. It is kind of very more topper-ish. So just sit there and just like build it up. Yeah. We now have some liquid eyeliners that came from Unearthly as well. These are called the Immortality liquid eyeliners. So they come with like this little like brush. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna love these. Okay, so here's one. It just kind of comes off a little bit chunky, I'm not gonna lie. Then we have, next up is going to be the shade Embers. I just don't like how chunky these are coming off. Just chunky. And that's like a black with like a yellow green shift. And then last up we have Imperial. Okay. And this is like a gray with like a pink shift to it. So then I'm going to try that one. So that's going to be the shade Imperial. We will see how, oh man, I need a mirror. I'm going to see how well this goes. Next up are going to be these. I've got some lashes from Unearthly. So we have this one right here. This is called Divinity. Then we have Visionary. That's very dramatic. Probably a little bit more dramatic than we need for this. And then there's this right here. This is called Dreamlike. So, okay. Definitely between Dreamlike. Let's go with this one. This is Divinity. So I am actually probably going to go do my lashes off of camera just because it does take quite a bit of time to do. But we will discuss the lashes. So they are, looks like single strip lashes. Okay. We'll say it's got like a very thin clear band. Some lash companies have thicker and some of them have like black bands. This one is definitely just basic. Okay, so I'm going to go do my lashes off of camera so then we can come back and try out some more of the face. Alright, so lashes are on, face is primed. So we're going to move on into this Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation Liquid Whip Long Wear Foundation. It says that this is oil-free, has 24-hour wear, full coverage, brightens and hydrates, PETA approved. A lightweight yet long-wearing full coverage foundation with a breathable satin matte finish that looks like your best skin. Once on primed and moisturized skin, use a damp beauty blender to bounce foundation onto skin, laying her as desired. Alright, so I have mine in the shade 1 Cool Ivory. You know, because I'm always having to do like the lightest shade. So it comes in like a little squeezy tube. I feel like every time that they do like a new foundation or something like that, the packaging is always different. Like they had that one where you like squeezed out and it came on like this thing. You just picked up the product on there and like stamped. Then they had, so then they have this one, but they had one other and I have that one. Now I can't think of what packaging it came in. I'll have to put it on the screen. But I just feel like it's always different. Okay, so I am just wanting to start off with like such a tiny amount and then build up if desired, because this says a satin matte finish, and if you guys know me, I am not a matte type of gal. I have very, very, very dry skin. So I just started off with like a very tiny amount. Like I still have some left on my back of my hand. Took about half of it, so this would probably be about like half of like a pump or half of a squeeze or whatever it is you'd like to call it. It's not quite so bad, I don't think. No, I feel like just a little bit was perfect. I am going to take my sponge. I'm going to go pick up what's left on the back of my hand and just focus that on like my cheek area where I have some additional redness. Okay. Okay. I'm a little bit shocked. Like it just like went in. It's like so easily blended in really nicely. I have no issue with that. So now we're going to move on into the Charlotte Tilbury Concealer. This is a Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. Clinically proven results, conceals, corrects, brightens, and lifts the look of skin. Medium buildable coverage, 16-hour wear. Dark circles appear reduced by 40% in 28 days. Smoother skin and more radiant by 43%. Boosts hydration by 173% in 1 hour. Has hyaluronic acid, golden vitamin C, collagen, and niacinamide. And that's all that it says. Okay, so here's what the packaging looks like. It's very nice, very luxe, very sleek. Doesn't feel overly weighted or anything like that. I absolutely love the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I absolutely love that. So I'm hoping I love this as much as well. It feels kind of thick whenever I put it on. It feels just like very creamy and very like thick. That's what it kind of reminds me of in a way. So now I'm just going to take my little sponge and work that in. Okay. I mean, this is blending in really nicely as well. Wow. I think it provides pretty okay coverage. I will say I am still having some issue with like my dark circles kind of peeking through. Doesn't really seem to really be like overly emphasizing like any texture. So yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. Definitely looks like hydrating. It is kind of settling into my fine lines a little bit more than like, I know I have fine lines, so like it's gonna like melt into it, but I feel like this is kind of overly emphasizing my fine lines a little bit more than I appreciate. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on into the next Charlotte Tilbury product. This is the Beautiful Skin Sun Kiss Glow Bronzer. Smoothing, healthy looking glow cream bronzer for face and body. Fused with hyaluronic acid and vitamin D. It boosts hydration by 136% in 1 hour. And the skin appears smoother by 42%, humidity proof and sweat proof. So lightly buff onto the skin and blend with the Beautiful Skin Bronzing Brush for an all-over sun-kissed glow. Okay, I don't have that brush, so we're just going to work with what we got. But this thing is, like, it's huge. It is massive. But this took forever to come back. Like, in stock. Like, I felt like... Ooh, okay. Like, I felt like... Well, I don't know. Like, it just, like... It was only the fair shade, too. Where it's like... It was like... I was like, does this shade even exist? Or are they just saying they have a fair shade until they can make one? Because I do not see any fairness or any fair bronzers on any website. But finally, I went to go buy some of the Charlotte Tilbury products off of the Charlotte Tilbury website because it hadn't released on Sephora yet. So I did that, and it was there. It was in stock, and I was like, I gotta get it now. Gotta go. This blends very beautifully. It's very easy to use. Very nice and creamy. Just blends out effortlessly. Wow. Okay, I will say this definitely looks like this has sank into the skin. I am going to take my sponge, though, and try to pick up some of, like, the excess. I feel like I may have had a little too much fun with the bronzer. You never know with me what's going to happen. Okay, now time to set the face. I added on a e.l.f. putty blush. So to first set the face, I'm going to go in with this from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish Science Plus Color Complexion Perfecting Eye and Face Micro Powder. It's brightening, blurring, lifting effect. It targets dark circles and shadows. And that's all that it really says. So I'm just going to take a little brush of mine, and we're going to see what happens. Does that brighten at all? Or am I going crazy here? I don't really know if it does brighten a whole lot. For me, again, my skin is just really like fair though, so you may not be able to get any fairer than the fair, right? You know? Okay. Ooh. But that has really sat underneath the eyes like so nicely though. I know mine is for the shades fair to medium, which is definitely quite a range. So I feel like if you had like deeper skin than me, like a light, I think maybe it would have a little bit more of a brightening effect than it does just for me, just because my skin is already so fair that it's it's like the powder is almost my skin tone, you know, like what I'm saying? So I think it did add a little bit of brightness, but I don't want to say it was anything like extraordinary, but it did set my face. It did set my face really nice. Let's go ahead and let's complete our lower lash line. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with that very first shade that we use called Gusto. And I'm just going to start smoking that all up and down. Then we're going to that shade called Vibe and just bring that like a little bit closer up to the lash line. And then we'll take the last shade, we'll take Sparkle and Live, and we'll kind of just like marry them together. Focus that right here on the outer portion. All right. Okay. So then I need something to put on like my inner corner. I think the lightest option is probably going to be this shade right here called Energy. So I'm just going to take that on my little brush. Pick that up. I'll put it right in here. Alright, so now that we've got the eyes for the most part all the way done, we're now going to move on into the bronzer. So we have this from Jaclyn Cosmetics. I have tried her other bronzers before. I've tried 2 other. I really liked them. But I wanted to see if this shade would maybe work a little bit better. The one thing I don't like about these, just like in general, and I have a feeling people are going to be like, what? In the comments, is I like coffee. I love coffee. Okay, you can't tell me nothing about coffee. But this is just like too heavily scented of coffee. Like if it's this heavily scented, like I should be able to like drink the coffee. And then I'm just going to start stamping this right here. Maybe that is a little bit better of like a shade for me. It's not like too intense. Just goes on really well, really easily. Just like so easy. And like it's weird because in the pan it looks like it's going to be like super orange, and maybe it is, and I'm just like missing out on this whole thing. I don't know what's going on here. Let me look really quick in my mirror. I will say it does provide warmth. So it does provide warmth, but I don't find it to be like too warm. I feel like it's like really good for like me and just like my skin tone. So okay, I think that one was a good purchase. That was a good purchase decision. I was kind of nervous since I had already had 2 if this was going to be a good purchase decision or not, but it was. So then we're going to move on into this from Benefit. This is the shade Shelly for a blush, and we are just going to start just working that in. It's like a really pretty, just like pinky orange, you know? It's a really beautiful pinky orange. I like that. I like that. It's just very nice. And it has a little bit of like a sheen to it, so you wouldn't really have to go into it more with like a highlighter if you like just like didn't want to. So here's the completed and final look, testing out some new makeup products that I had just recently purchased. What do you guys think? Are you guys loving the look? Are you not? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I'm actually really impressed with how it came out. I definitely have some thoughts on the products thus far. So let's go ahead and let's dive into the products from my least favorite to my most favorite. But coming in last place is going to be this from Unearthly Cosmetics. It is the eyeliner. Now, I will say I do appreciate this a little bit more than I did the other ones, the ones in the pot, because I did feel I could find or see the shift a little bit better. So you have this like little brush, and it just feels just kind of, do you see what I'm saying? Like chunky. It just gets chunky, and then you're like trying to like go over it to like get like the chunkiness out, and then it's just like flaking everywhere, and it's just like, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. I was able to get it on my eyes, but again, it was just like that chunkiness, like it's chunky in some areas, not so much the other. It's just really hard to get like a really good even application. So although I am very much appreciative of the fact that I can tell the reflection in it, there's nothing else really about it that is just like flooring me right now. Next up is going to be these lashes from them. I think the lashes look really pretty. They're very fluttery. They're very like almost like natural looking. What I will say about this though is that the band is just very, very thin. It's a very, very thin band. So if you are somebody who is like, I love thin bands, I think you're gonna like these. I like something that's just like a little bit thicker, so that way I know it's like securely sat down. Whereas with this, it just kind of feels like, I'm just like, is it securely sat down? Like, I can't even tell if this is securely sat down or not. No, I guess it is. Securely sat down. But it just feels very thin, very flimsy, that I have to, you know, make sure that, I don't know, it just feels like extra work compared to like ones that I like that have a little bit of a thicker band, such as that from like Glam Light, or oh, what was that one, House of Lashes, I think, just like something like that. Next up is going to be this cream bronzer. Okay, from here on out, it was like super hard to be like, which one do I like the best, because it was hard. I really do enjoy this product. I think it's a really good, I think it's a really good bronzer. It's really nice. It's very, very, very creamy. I will say though, I don't necessarily know that I would have geared this one towards fair. I feel like it does kind of get just like a little bit too intense for my fair skin. So I think I would have liked something a little bit lighter than that. But other than that, like for like the creaminess, the blendability, that it did just like sink right on into the skin. It was ease of use. I think 10 stars for those. But I don't know, just for me, it just looked a little bit too muddy, and a little bit too dark than what like I would want for my skin tone. Next up is going to be this from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It is their bronzer. This is in the shade Birthday Suit. So this is the lightest that they have. I really do appreciate this bronzer. I was able to use a heavy hand, which I feel like I always do use a heavy hand, without it going overboard. The one thing about like the Jaclyn Cosmetics bronzer or the line, oh my gosh, stuff keeps trying to fall, is that like it still is just warm. Like I can't find something light in her collection that's like light, that's like fair, right? Where it's just like neutral, just straight up neutral, maybe even a little bit more cool toned. I feel like they all just pull a little bit more like orange and very warm. And I don't mind, you know, I don't mind that. Like it's not like the end of the world, right? But like when I'm thinking of like my skin tone, the colors that I need, I would prefer something a little bit just more neutral, just for me personally. Next up is going to be the Unearthly Cosmetics Vitality Palette. I love this palette. This is such a cute palette. You have so many different color stories. You have so many different ways you can go with this palette. Purples, pinks, greens, neutrals, blues, like oranges. Like there's just like a lot that you can do with this palette. And I'm very, very pleased with this. Very, very impressed with the look that I came up with. It's definitely giving me like, I don't know, like watermelon sugar vibes. Like watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high. You know, that's like what I'm thinking today with this whole like vibe is like watermelon sugar high. But I think it's like very beautiful. I think that like it was easy to use. Comes with a nice mirror. The shimmers are nice. You know, some of them are more toppers, so you have to build them up. But again, they're beautiful. It's the same like Unearthly Cosmetics, like what you would expect from them as a brand. Like it's I mean, it's there. I know it's like, well, why wouldn't you rate the eyeshadow palette first? It's just like right now, like when I tried out the rest of these products, I was like, wow, my skin is looking good. Like you can make your eyeshadow look however you want, right? But it's like if you have stuff that has like good skin products, like you gotta hype those up, especially when you have dry skin and that's hard to come by. So next up is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Powder. I love this powder. I think it did a fantastic job setting around my under eyes. The only reason it's probably not ranked up any higher is just because this is supposed to be a brightening powder and I didn't find my eyes to be like overly brightened. Now I do know that this is made for the fair to like medium complexion range, but I just feel like I could have done something like a little bit more brightening for like the fair skin tone. I think if you have like a light medium skin tone, you're definitely going to get the brightening effect from this. As for me, I feel like it added a little bit of brightening, but I wouldn't say it was like, wow, extraordinary, crikeys, mate, you know, anything like that. So that was kind of sad because I bought it strictly for the fact that like I wanted brighter under eyes, and I feel like I just need to like come to my conclusion that like Carrington's just not going to happen for you. I would like for it to happen to me, but it doesn't seem like it. Next up is going to be this concealer. I really, really like this concealer. I think it was very nice. It was very hydrating. It did provide the coverage that I was looking for. I did have to build it up, but again, I was able to build it up easily, you know, provide some hydration. I think the only thing that's like a little bit like, for me is that it just did kind of just like really like settle in and emphasize my fine lines, which, yeah, fine lines, right? Like things are going to settle into it, but I felt like it was like really settling into it. So I was just kind of slightly disappointed in that. But next up is going to be this Beauty Blender foundation. I was a little bit iffy about this, and the reason being is because when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a soft satin matte finish. I'm just not a matte kind of a person. So I did go in with just like a tiny little dot. You know, I did one little small like little squeeze. Used half of that all over the face, blended that in with a sponge, and it looked so good. So then I took the leftover, soaked it up in the sponge, and then just applied where I needed just like a little bit extra help with some coverage on my cheeks, just because I do have some redness there, and it did phenomenal. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like heavy or anything like that. Again, I don't use filters. So the fact is, it just literally, it just sank right into the skin. I had no problems, no issues, blended beautifully. And so this is definitely like, for me who has dry skin, as long as I'm prepping my skin well, like making sure like the hydration, my moisturizer, sunscreen, you know, oils, whatever the case may be that I need for my face is on, this was fantastic. I had no issues with it whatsoever, and it just looks so good. So the fact that I'm like a dry skin gal being like, hey, this is actually pretty decent matte foundation, or I'm not like it's too matte, I think that'll be good. But I also am kind of like, if you have oily skin, just because if you have oily skin, I don't know if this is going to slip and slide on you. I don't know if also if you like use like much different products to like prep your face with, that this might come out better, you know, like a matte primer or something like that, that it might come out a little bit better. But overall, like, I'm pretty impressed with that. So that brings us to number 1, which is this Shelly blush from Benefit. This is so beautiful. I hate the packaging. First and foremost, I wish I would stop with these box packagings. Like, I just stop. But anyways, I love like the color of it. It's like an orangey pink. So I really enjoy that. Maybe I would say it's not quite coral. Maybe like a deeper salmon type color is what I would kind of think of this as. But I love how like it's just like very smooth, very like when like as you can tell, like I have blush on, but it's like it's so smooth looking. And then it does provide a little bit of a glow. So if you're somebody where you don't want like a super intense highlighter, so you add another highlighter like me, you want something that's a little bit more natural, just go with this. Like, take this blush and just use that, because it really did keep up with like the like glow and like the highlighting effect, and it was just really beautiful. All right, so that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoy testing out some new products. I still have more new products to try. Like, it's just evolving at this point. So I definitely have some more new products to try. So definitely make sure you guys have subscribed, click the little bell. If you enjoy testing out new makeups, final reviews on first impressions, that's what I'm trying to say. First impressions on new products. Definitely oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you guys like the piercings, let me know that down in the comments. Like, I love them. Let me know what you guys think down below as well. But that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.